Sign the damn papers, or I swear I'll take everything from you, your property, your father's house, every single thing he built. You think you can ignore Emmy? Sign it now, or you'll spend the next year in court watching me destroy you. Deborah Whitmore jabbed her manicured finger at the document on my kitchen table, her voice shaking with rage. This property is under Riverside Estates jurisdiction, whether you like it or not. $375 a month, plus the $1,500 in back fees you owe for the last 4 months. I've been generous enough to let slide. I stood there, coffee mug frozen halfway to my lips, staring at this woman who'd barged into my home at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday like she owned it. Red blazer, designer bag, that clipboard she carried like a weapon. Behind her, 2 men in black security uniforms blocked my doorway. "Ma'am," I said slowly, setting down my coffee, "you need to leave my property, right now." Her face flushed crimson. "Your property?" "Oh, honey, you clearly don't understand how this works. This house sits on OUR land now. The boundaries were updated last month. You missed the notice because you're never here, always off flying your little planes, thinking you're better than the rest of us." She shoved the papers closer. "Sign this payment agreement or I'll file a lien tomorrow, and when I'm done, you won't have a damn thing left of your precious daddy's legacy. My house? The one my father built with his own hands in 1987. The property he'd bought for $18,000 when this area was nothing but empty land. Now this woman, this stranger with fake authority and forged documents, was standing in my kitchen threatening to take it all. She'd made a mistake. A big one. Because I'm a commercial pilot, I navigate by instruments. I trust verified data over confident voices. And I was about to teach her the difference between authority and fraud. "Get out," I said, pulling out my phone to start recording. "You have 60 seconds before I call the police." Her smile was pure venom. "Call them. They'll tell you the same thing I am. This property belongs to Riverside Estates now. Welcome to community living, sweetheart." The house sat on half an acre at the end of Pinewood Drive in Austin, Texas, the old Austin, before tech money turned every vacant lot into luxury condos. Dad bought the land in 1985 for $18,000, back when this area was considered too far out. Built the house himself over 2 summers, every board measured twice, every nail driven straight. He died 6 months ago, heart attack at 68, and left me everything. I'd moved in during September, using my pilot schedule's flexibility to finally settle somewhere permanent. The real estate lawyer had been explicit during closing. This property predates Riverside Estates by 14 years. You're not part of their HOA, never have been, never will be, unless you voluntarily join. I'd verified it myself, pulled county records, studied boundary maps, confirmed the property line. Clear separation. My lot ended where a natural creek bed ran through the landscape. Their development started on the other side. Physical barrier, legal barrier, documented barrier. Yet here was this letter claiming jurisdiction, demanding payment, threatening consequences. I read the second paragraph again. Failure to remit monthly assessments will result in lien filing and potential foreclosure proceedings. All properties benefiting from Riverside Estates community standards are subject to association oversight per amended bylaws. Section 12.4. Section 12.4, like citing a statute, made it real. I grabbed my laptop and searched for Riverside Estates HOA bylaws online. Found their website professional, polished, filled with photos of manicured lawns and smiling families, downloaded their governing documents, searched for Section 12.4. It existed. But the language was different from the letter's claim. Section 12.4 addressed properties voluntarily annexed through recorded deed modification with county approval. Voluntary. Recorded. County approved. None of which applied to me. Someone had twisted the language, betting I wouldn't read the actual bylaws, betting I'd just pay. I pulled out my phone and called Travis County Recorder's office, asked to speak with someone about property boundaries and HOA jurisdiction. Got transferred twice before reaching a clerk named Patricia Chen, patient voice, professional manner. Ma'am, I need to verify something. Can an HOA claim jurisdiction over property that predates their incorporation? Not without recorded easements or voluntary annexation, she said. Do you have your property ID number? I read it from my deed, heard her typing. Okay, I'm looking at your lot. Purchased 1,985. Structure completed 1,987. Riverside Estates incorporated 1,999. Your property shows no HOA affiliation, no recorded easements, no amendments. You're clear. Can they change that without my consent? Absolutely not. Any boundary modification requires county filing, public notice, and property owner consent. If someone's claiming otherwise, they're either mistaken or lying. I thanked her, took notes on the conversation, and stared at the letter again. Not a mistake, a lie. Deliberate and calculated. That night, I heard the vehicle before I saw it. Low rumble, aggressive, idle. I walked to the front window and looked out. Black Escalade, windows tinted, sitting at the end of my driveway with the engine running. High-mounted LED light bar suddenly blazed to life, flooding my entire yard with harsh white light. I couldn't see the driver through the glare. Just stood there, watching as the vehicle sat motionless for exactly 10 minutes. I timed it before the lights cut out and the Escalade drove away, slowly, deliberately. Message received. We know where you live. I grabbed my phone, pulled up the security camera app I'd installed after moving in, rewound the footage, captured clear shots of the license plate. Texas registration, legible even in the darkness. My hands were steady, pilot training, crisis management, but my jaw was tight. This wasn't random. This was intimidation. Psychological warfare designed to make me feel vulnerable in my own home. I downloaded the footage, backed it up to 3 separate cloud services, and created a folder on my laptop. Evidence, Whitmore, HOA. Added the letter, the video, screenshots of the county records confirming my property's independence. If this was going to be a fight, I'd fight with documentation, with facts, with the same precision I used to navigate through thunderstorms at 30,000 feet. Numbers don't lie, and neither do timestamps. 4 days later, another letter arrived. Certified mail. Return receipt required. I signed for it standing at my mailbox, feeling the weight of escalation before I even opened it. Final notice. Overdue assessment, $375. Additional late fee, $150. Total due, $525. Payment required within 72 hours to avoid lien filing. But the real shock came on page 2, a map. Not the Travis County official survey. A different version, boundaries redrawn, property lines shifted. My house, clearly labeled with my address, now sat inside a thick red line marked Riverside Estates HOA jurisdiction. The creek bed that formed the natural boundary? Gone. The survey markers Dad had installed in concrete? Ignored. 20 years of documented separation? Erased. Someone had taken the official county map, altered it digitally, and printed it as if it were legitimate government documentation. I spread both maps across my kitchen table, the real one I'd gotten from the county, and this fabricated version, held them up to the light. The forgery was good, almost professional. Same formatting, same legend style, same font for the labels, but the details were wrong. Survey marker coordinates didn't match. The creek bed was missing from their version, and when I zoomed in on the digital file they'd emailed because they were stupid enough to send a PDF, I could see the editing artifacts. Layers not fully flattened. Resolution differences, where the boundary line had been moved. Metadata, showing the file was created 2 weeks ago using Adobe Photoshop. The county's official map, created 1,999. Never amended. Clean metadata. I photographed everything, created a side-by-side comparison document, highlighted every discrepancy in fluorescent yellow. This wasn't a billing dispute, this was fraud. Document forgery. Criminal activity disguised as administrative procedure. I called my sister Kara, immigration attorney in Houston, sharp as broken glass, zero tolerance for bureaucratic bullying. They did what? Her voice went from casual to predatory in half a second. I explained everything. The letters, the fake map, the midnight intimidation. Mia, listen to me. Do not respond. Do not pay anything. This is felony level fraud. Forging county documents. Extortion through false claims. This is federal territory if they used mail. You need a lawyer. Not me. I do immigration. You need someone who specializes in real estate fraud and HOA abuse. You know anyone? Yeah. Guy named Simon Greenberg. Tough, meticulous, hates bullies. I'll text you his info. But Mia, this gets worse before it gets better. Document everything. Every interaction, every threat, every contact. These people escalate when challenged. I spent that evening researching Deborah Whitmore. Her social media was public: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Lots of posts about community standards and property value protection. Photos of homes with violations called out publicly. Comments about maintaining excellence and not tolerating decay. She positioned herself as a guardian, a protector of order against chaos. But scrolling deeper, I found cracks, negative comments deleted quickly, neighbors asking pointed questions that went unanswered. One thread from 8 months ago where someone challenged a $500 fine for unauthorized mailbox color. The exchange got heated before the entire post disappeared. I kept digging, found county property records. Cross-referenced addresses of people who'd sold homes near the Riverside Estates boundary in the last 3 years. 7 sales, all below market value, all quick closings. All properties that sat on the edge of HOA territory, just like mine. One seller had left a review on a real estate forum, sold to escape HOA harassment. President manufactured violations, threatened liens, made life unbearable. Lawyers said fighting would cost more than the house was worth. We left. Another post, different forum. Riverside Estates HOA is a nightmare. President targets anyone who questions her. We paid $3,000 in fake fees just to avoid legal costs. Moved as soon as we could. Pattern recognition. It's a pilot skill spotting trends in data, identifying problems before they become crises. Deborah Whitmore had done this before, multiple times. And people had folded because the cost of fighting seemed higher than the cost of paying. But they didn't have what I had. Documentation training, crisis management experience, and an absolute unwillingness to let a bully rewrite reality. I drafted an email, professional, factual, cold. Miss Whitmore, I am in receipt of your letters dated November 3 and November 7. I must inform you that your claims are factually incorrect. My property at 4782 Pinewood Drive is not, and has never been, part of Riverside Estates HOA. This is confirmed by Travis County records, the original 1,999 HOA incorporation documents, and current survey data. I am not subject to your bylaws, your fees, or your jurisdiction. The map you provided in your second letter contains numerous inaccuracies and does not match official county records. I request that you immediately cease all contact and withdraw these fraudulent claims. Any further correspondence will be forwarded to legal counsel, Captain Mia Torres. I attached the official county map, highlighted the boundary, included the county clerk's contact information for verification. Hit send at 9:47 p.m. Her response came at 6:14 a.m. the next morning. Fast. Too fast. Like she'd been waiting. Captain Torres, Riverside Estates operates under updated boundary assessments approved by the board and consistent with our governing authority. Your property benefits from community landscaping, security patrols, and aesthetic maintenance. Fees are assessed equitably across all benefiting properties. If you wish to dispute this matter, you may file a formal challenge through our legal review process. Please note that challenge processing typically requires 6 to 8 months and does not pause fee accumulation or lien proceedings. Alternatively, you may remit current and future assessments to avoid unnecessary legal complications. The choice is yours. Deborah Whitmore, President, Riverside Estates, HOA. The threat was barely veiled. Pay up or face legal warfare designed to be more expensive than compliance. I saved the email, printed it, added it to my evidence folder. Then I called Simon Greenberg. His office was in a converted warehouse in South Austin, exposed brick, industrial lighting, files stacked in precise rows. He was mid-50s, gray beard, eyes that missed nothing, voice like gravel worn smooth. "Show me everything," he said. I spread it across his conference table. Letters, maps, emails, videos of the escalade, county records, timeline of events, metadata analysis of the forged map. He studied everything methodically. Didn't speak for 20 minutes. Just read, compared, made notes in margins. Finally looked up. This isn't her first time. I know. I found 7 families who left the area after similar harassment. I know about 4 of them, represented 2. Both cases settled because clients couldn't afford prolonged litigation. Deborah Whitmore is systematic. She identifies properties on boundary edges, fabricates jurisdiction, applies pressure until people pay or leave. Most don't fight because they assume HOA authority is absolute. He tapped the forged map. But this crosses a line. Forging county documents is a felony. Using them to extort money? That's racketeering territory. What do? 2 tracks. Civil lawsuit against her and the HOA for fraud, extortion, intentional infliction of emotional distress. Simultaneously, we report this to the Travis County DA for criminal investigation. The forged map is hard evidence. The emails prove intent. The pattern of behavior shows this isn't an isolated incident. He leaned back. But Mia, you need to understand something. She'll escalate before she surrenders. People like this double down when challenged. It'll get ugly. I thought about the escalade, the midnight visits, the deliberate intimidation. It's already ugly, I said. Let's make it legal. 3 days later, I woke to find my driveway blocked. Heavy-duty chain wrapped around the entrance gate, secured with a commercial-grade padlock. No warning, no explanation, just physical obstruction preventing me from leaving my own property. I called 911. 2 officers arrived within 40 minutes, young, professional, clearly tired of HOA disputes. They examined the chain, took photos, asked if I knew who'd placed it. HOA president, I said. She's been harassing me, claiming my property is under her jurisdiction when county records prove otherwise. One officer, older, weathered, shook his head. HOAs have broad authority, ma'am. This is probably a civil matter. You should contact a lawyer. I have a lawyer. This is criminal trespassing and property obstruction. He exchanged a look with his partner. We can document it, but unless you have proof of who placed the chain, there's not much we can do. File a civil complaint. Get a restraining order. They wrote up an incident report, but made it clear this wasn't a priority, just another neighbor dispute in a city full of them. After they left, I spent 30 minutes cutting through the chain with bolt cutters from Dad's old toolbox, heavy steel designed to resist tampering. Each cut took effort, the metal biting into the blades. When I finally broke through, I gathered every piece and photographed them with timestamp and GPS coordinates embedded in the metadata. Added them to my evidence collection, then I checked my security cameras. 3:22 a.m. Black Escalade. 2 figures approaching my gate, one holding the chain, the other a drill. The motion-activated floodlight I'd installed kicked on after 10 seconds, illuminating everything. Deborah Whitmore. Clear face. Identifiable. No question. And a man I didn't recognize, probably her husband, helping wrap the chain. I downloaded the footage, backed it up, sent copies to Simon. He called me 20 minutes later. That's criminal mischief, trespassing, and conspiracy. I'm sending this to the DA today. This isn't civil anymore. This is prosecutable. That afternoon, Deborah posted in the Riverside Estates Community Facebook group. I wasn't a member, but a neighbor forwarded me screenshots. Community alert. Non-compliant property owner at 4782 Pinewood Drive refuses to follow safety regulations. Has created vehicle obstruction hazards affecting neighborhood egress routes. HOA is taking appropriate legal action to protect community welfare and property values. She'd posted a photo of my house cropped to make it look neglected, angle chosen to hide the well-maintained yard and fresh paint Dad had applied 2 years ago. Comments flooded in. Who does this person think they are? Property values are everyone's concern. One bad neighbor ruins it for all of us. The HOA should press charges. This affects our safety. I wanted to respond, to correct the lies, to explain. But Simon had been clear. Do not engage on social media. Do not defend yourself publicly. Let them build their narrative. Every false claim is evidence of malice. Every lie strengthens our case. So I screenshot everything instead, saved every comment, logged every false statement, built a timeline of defamation that would speak for itself in court. By evening, I'd received another certified letter. This one announced a lien filing within 48 hours unless full payment was received, $1,125, 3 months of fake fees plus late charges. I photographed it, filed it, waited. The next morning, my security camera caught something new. A Travis County Sheriff's vehicle pulling into Deborah's driveway 3 houses down. 2 deputies emerged, walked to her door, knocked. Simon had moved fast, served her with a cease and desist order and notice of impending lawsuit. Civil complaint filed with Travis County District Court. Criminal referral sent to the DA with comprehensive evidence package. I didn't watch the interaction, didn't need to. Just noted the timestamp and continued preparing. 2 days later, I got the call I'd been waiting for. Detective Marcus Rivera, Travis County DA's Economic Crimes Unit. Voice professional. Questions pointed. Ms. Torres, I've reviewed the evidence package your attorney submitted. The forged county map is concerning. The pattern of extortion allegations is concerning. I'd like to meet, go through everything in detail. We met that afternoon at the DA's office. I brought physical copies of everything, letters, maps, videos, emails, financial records, showing Deborah had collected over $42,000 from non-HOA residents over 3 years. Detective Rivera spent 90 minutes reviewing it all, forensic accountant training evident in how he cross-referenced financial data with property records. How many other victims? He asked. At least 11 that I've identified. 7 sold their homes. 4 paid fees to make it stop. He nodded. Fraud, extortion, forgery of government documents, possibly organized criminal activity if we can prove systematic intent. This isn't a misdemeanor. This is felony territory. What happens next? We open a formal investigation. Subpoena HOA records. Interview victims. Analyze the forged documents. If the evidence holds and it looks solid, we'll bring charges. Probably within 2 weeks. He looked at me directly. You understand she'll know you're the one who triggered this investigation? I understand, but if I don't stop her, she'll keep doing this to others. Fair enough. One more thing. Do you have the original chain? The one she used to block your driveway? I smiled. I have every piece. Photographed, cataloged, stored in labeled evidence bags. You really are a pilot. Everything by the book. Numbers don't lie, detective. Neither do timestamps. The arrest happened on a Wednesday morning. I was working from home. Pilot scheduling meant irregular hours when I heard the commotion outside. Looked out the window to see 2 sheriff's vehicles parked at Deborah's house. I didn't go outside. Didn't film. Just noted the time and continued working, but within 30 minutes, the neighborhood Facebook group exploded with posts. Someone had live-streamed the arrest. I watched later Deborah answering her door in workout clothes, confusion shifting to shock as the deputy read her Miranda rights, handcuffs clicking closed, her voice rising. This is a mistake. I'm protecting this community. That woman is lying. The deputy's voice, calm and professional. "Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent." She was charged with 4 felony counts: forgery of government documents, theft by extortion, aggregate amount over $40,000, criminal mischief, and organized criminal activity. Bail set at $75,000. Arraignment scheduled for the following week. My phone started ringing within the hour. Neighbors I'd never met, some apologizing for believing Deborah's lies, others thanking me for standing up, a few asking how they could help. One message stood out from an elderly woman who'd paid Deborah $6,000 over 2 years. "I thought I was crazy. I thought the rules were real. Thank you for proving I wasn't alone." Simon filed the civil lawsuit the same day, named Deborah individually and the HOA board for failing to provide oversight, sought damages, legal fees, and injunctive relief preventing future harassment. The preliminary hearing was brief. Judge reviewed the charges, examined the evidence summary, set trial dates. Deborah's attorney expensive suit, aggressive posture tried to frame everything as a neighborhood dispute and misunderstanding of HOA authority. The judge cut him off. "Counsel, your client allegedly forged county documents and extorted $40,000 from residents. That's not a misunderstanding. That's criminal enterprise. Bail conditions remain. Next." I sat in the gallery with Simon, watching Deborah's face cycle through emotions, anger, fear, disbelief. The confidence she'd radiated in her letters was gone. All that remained was the reality of consequences. The case moved quickly after that. Deborah's attorney negotiated a plea deal within 6 weeks. She'd plead guilty to reduce charges in exchange for avoiding trial. Terms read in open court: 18 months in state prison, suspended pending probation, 5 years supervised probation, $47,000, restitution to victims, $25,000 fine, permanent ban from serving on any HOA board in Texas, 300 hours community service formal. Public apology. I attended the sentencing hearing, watched as Deborah stood before the judge, voice barely audible, and read her prepared statement. "I abused my position as HOA president. I created false documents. I extorted money from people who didn't owe it. I used fear and intimidation to control others. I'm sorry for the harm I caused." The words felt hollow, scripted, but they were on record, permanent. The judge accepted the plea, reminded Deborah that any probation violation would trigger the full prison sentence. Court adjourned. I walked out into the bright Texas afternoon, Simon beside me. "It's done," he said quietly. "It's done," I agreed, but it didn't feel like victory. Just the closing of a chapter I'd never wanted to write. The Riverside Estates HOA held emergency elections. Deborah's entire board resigned within a week. New leadership emerged. Retired school principal named Helen Martinez. First act, publishing all financial records online. Second act, rewriting bylaws to require transparency and resident oversight. She contacted me personally, apologized on behalf of the HOA, confirmed in writing that my property was not and had never been under their jurisdiction. "What Deborah did was criminal," Helen said over coffee. "We're making sure it can never happen again." I worked with Simon to help the other victims file claims. 11 families total. Restitution payments distributed according to what each had paid or lost. The elderly woman received her $6,000 plus damages. The family who'd sold under pressure received $15,000 covering part of their lost equity. Smaller cases received between $500 and $4,000 each. Not enough to erase the harm, but recognition that what happened was real and wrong. The Travis County DA's office presented me with a civilian commendation for helping expose organized fraud. Local news covered the case. HOA president charged with extortion scheme using forged maps. I did one interview, kept it factual, explained what happened, what I learned, why documentation mattered. People need to know their rights, I told the reporter. They need to understand that authority isn't legitimate just because someone claims it. Check county records. Verify everything. Don't let fear silence you. Months passed. Life returned to normal rhythms. Flight schedules, layovers, home between trips. The house Dad built stood solid and unchanged. I installed a small plaque near the property line. Bronze, weatherproof, bolted to a concrete post. This land, purchased 1985, built 1987, free 2024, not subject to HOA jurisdiction per Travis County records. Truth doesn't negotiate. Neighbors walking past would sometimes stop and read it, nod. One man told me he'd verified his own property boundaries after my case, discovered his HOA had been claiming 15 feet of land they didn't own, filed a quiet title action, and won. I wrote about the experience, not a book, just a detailed case study for a property rights advocacy website. Outlined every step: how to verify boundaries, document harassment, build evidence, find legal help. It's been shared thousands of times. I get emails weekly from people facing similar situations. Some resolve with a single letter, others require litigation, but all start with the same principle. Know your rights, document everything, use the system. One evening, I stood at my back window with coffee, watching sunset paint the sky orange and purple. The creek bed that marked the true property boundary sparkled in the fading light. Dad's land. Dad's house. Dad's legacy. Defended not with anger or fear, but with facts, patience, and the same precision I use to navigate through storms. Numbers don't lie. Boundaries don't shift. And truth, when properly documented, is more powerful than any fabricated authority. My phone buzzed. Text from a stranger. Read your case study. My HOA just tried claiming my property. I pulled county records like you said. They were lying, hired lawyer. They dropped everything in 3 days. Thank you. I saved the message in a folder with dozens of others. Small confirmations that fighting back had mattered beyond my own fence line. Outside, the last light faded. The house settled into evening quiet. Somewhere in another city, someone else was probably opening a fraudulent HOA letter right now, making a choice between fear and action. I hoped they'd choose action, choose documentation, choose truth, because the system works if you know how to use it, and bullies only win when good people stay silent. I wasn't silent anymore, and neither were the 11 families who'd found their voices again. The property line stood exactly where Dad had marked it in 1985, unchanged, verified, real. Some boundaries can't be rewritten, no matter how confident the liar, how official the fake documents, or how bright the midnight headlights. Truth, properly defended, stays true.